reasonable force to get you off. Get off the property. Get off the property. You're trespassing. I'll call the cops. Call the cops. Mate, you just... Hey, get out.
He hasn't paid you rent for 3 months.
Yes.
You want to put that on camera? Come on. Settle down, mate. Come on. Settle down. Right, call this girl, come on.
And he touched me from behind.
And he's assaulted 3 people.
Unhinged, deranged and an absolute psycho.
Send the cops in now or I'll kill this.
It's hard to believe, but this is self-proclaimed servant of God, Pastor Steve Jones.
I'll get you. You don't know what you're talking about. I'll drop the lot of you.
A man who reaches out and preaches of his love for the world.
I'm a pastor and I'm an evangelist. I love people.
Oh, that's a... Come on.
I've labelled him Reverend Ripoff.
The truth is, he's a deceitful, nasty lunatic, a man who stands accused of ripping off hundreds of families, war veterans, pensioners, even cancer victims.
He still continued after we explained what Madison had and the turmoil that we went through for 18 months. He still had the audacity to continue with his scam.
How come you're such an angry person?
I'm because that been trying to get in this house for 2 weeks.
Stephen Jones is also a self-confessed pervert who repeatedly makes unwanted lewd advances towards women, a con man who's taken donations for charity events which never occurred, and a creep who performed an indecent act in front of this horrified beautician.
I thought, what? Like, this can't be serious.
I went into a salon and to get a Brazilian wax. I'd acted inappropriately.
Get the camera out of my face! Get off the property! Get out! Get out!
Mate, you're going to be charged with assault.
I didn't give
Now he's trashing David Zemenick's home and owes him thousands in unpaid rent.
That's all right, you do what you
Nice
like.
to meet you, Stephen. Now, can you explain where all the rent money's gone?
None of your business.
While David's attempts to legally inspect his own property end in out-of-control violence.
Mate, calling the police, mate.
Get off the property!
Our cameraman in an ambulance,
She just went absolutely bonkers.
and this raving lunatic locked up in handcuffs.
Ever see you in the street? Punch the out of you.
Dave, you've got your notice of inspection here.
Yes.
Why have you served Stephen with that?
David initially contacted us to warn everyone about Stephen Jones and to try to get some help stopping this con man doing more damage to his house.
Just because I want to have a look inside, and also because he's been living here for 3 months rent-free.
So, as per rental housing legislation, David gave Stephen Jones 7 days' notice of the upcoming inspection. He sent him the relevant documents and received a text message acknowledgement from Stephen in reply. At the appointed time, David took us with him so we could film the damage. But it appears Pastor Steve has already physically moved out and is living at a different address. The kitchen, bedrooms and living areas here are virtually empty. He's only left behind junk and evidence of mindless destruction.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Holes in the walls, multiple windows smashed, glass in the garden, car parts litter the backyard. There are wires coming out of the ceiling and the whole house smells of animals.
It's a disaster. It's the worst possible scenario, a tenant from hell.
To top it off, he hasn't paid rent since November and now owes David more than $7,000.
He's really just come in and made himself at home, hasn't he? He's installing shelves, drilling holes in the wall.
Yeah, it's like his own fortress, refusing admission.
But despite not living here anymore, Stephen Jones still acts like he's king of the castle.
Get out.
Hey,
Get out. Get off the property, I'll call the cops.
Mate, call
the cops.
Get off. We're here with other people.
I don't care, you're out.
No, don't shut the door. We're here with David.
Yep.
He's got the order.
Yep.
Can you explain where all the rent money's gone?
None of your business.
Well, it is. It's David's business. Where's the rent money?
No, you're trespassing.
Despite David's notice of inspection authorising him to access his own house, the perverted pastor loses it, picking up the leg of a coffee table as a weapon.
You remove yourself from the property.
Come on, Stephen. What's all the damage?
I can use reasonable force to get you off. Get off.
There holes in
Get
the
off the property. Get off the property. You're trespassing. I'll call the cops. Call the cops. Mate, you just... Hey, get out.
We attempt to back out, keeping an eye on Psycho Stephen as he lashes out.
Get out. bitch and you get out. You do what you like.
Stand back, we're going.
Yeah, I'm all right.
It's a tense standoff. Pastor Steve is unpredictable and attacking us constantly.
We're going, mate.
Go.
We're going.
Well, go. Go. I told you,
We're
go.
going. I'm watching you.
I don't get out. I've asked you to go. Go. Go.
But even out of the house, the violence continues. Again
Get off my property.
and again.
You were given 7 days notice for this entry notice.
But then you didn't sign
You
the
knew there was a
shit.
time. There was a time. 10 and 12 was an entry
I'll
notice.
get you. I know what you're talking about.
We called police while Pastor Steve continues his threats, warning David he knows the address where he lives.
I'll be giving that out. Don't worry about that.
You making threats there, Stephen?
You work it out. I can do it anyway.
Well, why'd you say that then?
None of your business. I'm not talking to you. I don't talk to
An ambulance arrives to treat our cameraman for a suspected broken hand after Pastor Steve Jones hit him here, smashing his watch to smithereens. Police take our statements, photograph the evidence and try to calm the crazed pastor down. As they depart, we also head back to our car to leave.
Back it all up.
But this man of God continues his tirade, following us with a power drill, yelling out threats. He gets into his car and drives up to abuse landlord David once more. But as we're about to find out, Pastor Stephen Jones sees red when reminded of his perverted history of sexually harassing women.
But you, David, you think you're smart. No, you have no idea who I am. If you go and ask the Deuce, I'll tell you.
We have an idea who you are. You're a serial pervert con man.
The wrong thing. You would have got this place cleaned up.
Serial pervert con man, aren't you? That's who you are.
Stand on camera. Come on.
Settle down, mate.
Go on.
Settle down.
Come on, come on, serial pervert. Come on.
You
Come
are?
on, that's a Come on. Come on. Come on.
Cops are just there.
Get him up here. Come on, serial pervert. Come on, little dog.
Good one.
And his day's about to get a whole lot worse.
I don't give a at 60. I've had a good life. Give that to your viewers.
The pastor is arrested and taken away in handcuffs, abusive and belligerent right to the very end.
I want to see you in the street and punch the out of you.
This is why I called you, because this is something out of the... I've never experienced anybody come across anyone like this.
But for David Zemenick, the battle isn't even close to being over. This madman still has legal rights to be inside David's house, still causing more damage and still refusing to pay rent.
It's impossible to sleep at night, you know. It's affecting my relationships at home as well, you know, with everyone. I'm stressed out all the time.
And even despite being arrested for his incredible violence, Stephen Jones is still sending text messages like these to David.
I don't care if I get charged. Only a bullet can stop me. You can put an AVO, PO or toilet paper on me for all I care. It means no more than the paper it's written on to me, as it can't stop a determined person. You don't know what unlawful entry is until you've experienced it in the middle of the night. Good luck, you piece of shit. The worst thing you have to be concerned about is you have to go to sleep sometime.
Oh, it's been like this for the last few months. You know, I haven't slept much.
It's now a terrifying waiting game for David, hoping that Pastor Stephen Jones doesn't